Alright, so what we did was, first of all, we learned a few terms regarding the homologous pair of chromosomes, right? So when you look at the karyotype of a human, so this is a karyotype of a human, right? So normally in here you have 23 pairs of chromosomes, including the sex chromosome like this. Okay, then these two chromosomes are in the relationship of homologous pair, meaning this came from mother and this came from father. All right, so these two actually contains the same, it codes for the same trait, it codes for the same phenotype, but the specific information is slightly different, right? So when we're talking about those two homologous pair of chromosomes, first of all, we refer to a term called locus. Okay, so locus refers to the location of a gene on the chromosome. Okay, so if you're talking about a specific gene on a specific chromosome, we refer to that gene as a locus. Okay, a gene locus. Another term that we learned was allele. All right, so allele is the specific gene that we talk about in the homologous pair. All right, so when we have these kind of alleles that's identical, that means you have homozygous, okay, homozygous allele, all right? And if they are different, then that's heterozygous, okay? So if you have homozygous pair, then it could be homozygous dominant or homozygous recessive, right? And then these refer to different genes within a chromosome, okay? So remember, in one chromosome, there are so many different genes that codes for so many different traits, okay? And then, so this is how the meiosis occurs and then produces gametes, right? So if the two parent actually meets with different information, so different allele, right? So large A, and then the other parent has small a, then this produces A as gamete, large A, and then small a from a different parent, okay? Then these two actually fertilizes and produces heterozygous offspring, okay? And then this ratio actually shows the cross between heterozygous parents, okay? So if the heterozygous parents like this actually mate, okay, then this parent actually produces gametes that is large A or small a, okay? And this heterozygous parent also produces large A or small a, all right? So if these actually meet randomly, then there's a possibility that large A will get produced, or large A, small a, or small a, right? So if you actually look at the phenotype ratio, right, ratio of the phenotype of the offspring, then always it's going to be 3:1, all right? So since the dominant allele actually covers the phenotype of the recessive allele, right, all of these are going to actually represent the dominant phenotype, and the other one should have the recessive phenotype, okay? So these are all the ratio that's closer to 3:1, all right? And they tested the cross between the heterozygous genes for different phenotypes, okay? So they did a different gene that codes for the seed shape, okay? And also they cross the gene that codes for seed color. So this is tested for all different genes, and it all turned out to be the cross between heterozygous parents actually produces the offspring that has a phenotype ratio of 3:1. Okay, so also this one shows if a homozygous parent and another homozygous parent with dominant and recessive allele actually meet, then all of the offspring is actually going to be large A and small a. Okay, so all of them is going to have the same phenotype like this. Okay, so when you're talking about these two, you have to remember the laws that we learned, right? So that was on page 116, right? So we talked about the law of dominance, which means that dominant allele actually covers the phenotype of the recessive allele. Also, we talked about the law of segregation, meaning these two allele actually get separated, producing separate gametes. Okay, this one also, allele gets separated into different gametes during meiosis. Okay. Also, according to the law of dominance and law of independent assortment, right? So when you're talking about two different genes now, two different alleles and two different chromosomes, then there are several different arrangements that could happen for the gametes here, right? So it could be large A, So